Hi, welcome to Piano Pizzazz. I'm so glad you'll be joining me this year as we're going to be kicking off our Olympic theme. As you know, the regular Olympics have been postponed until 2021, so this whole year we're going to be working on an Olympic theme in piano as well. The name of the theme is called A Perfect 10. Go for the gold. That's what everybody strives to do in the Olympics. They try to get the highest score. So we're going to be keeping score in many ways this year with your things that you're working on in piano. We're going to be using two thematic books. The first one is A Perfect 10, which you're going to be graded every month on your song. There's 10 songs in the book, so your goal is to get a 10 or as close as you can to get that to that score. Also, I really like the series by Melody Buber because it is a review of all of the different styles that we've been working on over the last 4 years. So if you like jazz, rags, blues, showstoppers, classical music, it's got just a little bit of everything, and I think that you'll enjoy this series. So we're secondly going to be using a book called A Dozen a Day. So when you go to the Olympics, you don't just wake up and be able to do all of those hard tasks. You have to practice and train diligently, regularly, consistently, pretty much your whole life. So in piano, it's kind of that way. So you have to exercise your fingers, you have to strengthen them, and so the book, The Dozen a Day, is going to help you be able to do that. So we'll get to that a little bit later, but for now, I wanted to show you the first song in the book. It's called Cool Cats, okay? It's a jazz selection. I think that you'll enjoy it. The thing that I'm noticing about the book level 3 here is that we're assuming that you already know the regular notes on the piano from in the treble clef, all the treble clef notes just in the regular position, the C position. In this book, you're going to need to know the notes a little bit higher than the C position. So it's going to go above the staff here, so up to the ledger lines, all right? So the one that sets up above the staff is G. The next one on the ledger line is A. Now, I know that looks like C, but it's upside down. So it's above the treble clef, that's A. The next one, the space note above that line is B. And then where you have two ledger lines up above the treble clef, that's C. Okay, so on my piano, I've got my middle C, then I've got my treble C, and then I've got my high C, all the way up there. So that's what this note is here. That's the high C. All right, so in addition to that, you're going to need to know ledger lines below the middle C. So here's my middle C, and then if I go down one, most of you have already learned that note is B. Usually the left hand would play this note because it's lower than middle C, but sometimes the right hand has to play that because the left hand is playing something lower. This one, two ledger lines below the treble clef, is A. Okay, so those are your new notes in the treble clef that you're going to need to know for this level. In the bass clef, it's the same thing. I'm assuming that you already know all of the line notes and the space notes in the bass clef. So in addition to that, you're going to need to take your left hand and come up, of course you know middle C, but above middle C, you've got the D, sets up above the line. And then the next one here, two ledger lines above the bass clef, is your E. Okay, so you'll need that left hand to be able to come up a little higher above middle C to play that. Sometimes though, you're going to go lower below the staff, and you're going to need to know the ledger lines below. So this is F, and we're not talking about the F right here, we're talking about the F lower down. F, that low F, the bass note. E, D, and C. So that's the very low C, okay? So you're expanding your range on the piano. So your hands are not going to just be staying stationary in one position. They're going to be starting to move around more. So be prepared for that. So on Cool Cats, we're going to be starting in that kind of that same D position where it's one note above middle C. The reason we're doing that is so that we can use that A a lot. In fact, we're in the key of A minor. Okay, can you hear the sound? key signature, there's no sharps or flats. All right, so we know that that would have to be in the key of C. We're not going to change any of the white notes to make them black notes automatically. But in the key of A minor, which also shares the same key signature with C, we play the C notes from C to C, but we do it from A to A. And usually when we play the A minor or any minor scale, we raise up that 7th tone right there to the G sharp, okay? So A minor. So to remember that we're going to be using a lot of G sharps on this song, I've got these little tabs right here, these little paper tabs. I'm going to just take one off here, and I'm going to put it on the G sharp, the black note, right here in the treble clef, and I'm going to put the other one in the bass clef, right here on that middle note. That way I'll remember the note that I'm supposed to be sharping a lot. This is called G sharp. Sometimes it's called A flat, but for this song, it's marked as a G sharp. So I'm going to move the camera a little closer where you can see the piano just a little bit better, okay? So when I go, you'll be able to see my hands better that way. See how the left hand gets to cross over? Now this is my favorite part, the B section. It's louder, stronger, it's accented. Like Halloween, and then the right hand continues on higher, repeating the A section. Okay, so Cool Cats has some fun elements in it. I like the sharps, the way it's got that sound in there, as well as the end here where it has the triplet. Okay, right here you'll see it looks like 2 8th notes, but there's a third one, and it has a 3 under it. So when you see that 3 under 3 8th notes like that, that means to play all 3 in one beat, okay? So like you've got your beats going 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, that would allow for the 8th note. So you'd have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But if you have a triplet, this comes in on beat 2. So how you would count this is 1, triplet, 3, 4. Okay, so triplet takes the place of beat 2 in this measure. Okay, so we're dividing that beat into 3s instead of just 2 8th notes. Okay, so how we count that is triplet. All right, so again, that would be 1, triplet, 3, 4. All right, so that has a unique sound to it. The ending sounds the same as the introduction for the first 2 measures, but your hands are more separate. See, the first part, the left hand is up higher. So you can hear that as higher. Now at the bass, the bottom part is lower. So it changes it up right there, so it prepares for the triplet. You've probably heard that ending before. That's pretty common. So I hope that you'll enjoy Cool Cats. It'll be perfect for you to be able to play around Halloween time for your friends. It has a little jazz feel to it. And I think that you'll enjoy working on it a little bit faster. So this is fun to play fast. So when you first start practicing, go slow, but little by little, you can get a little bit faster. So I think that's most of the elements that you'll need to be familiar with. So enjoy practicing and let the games begin.